Hey everyone, Charting Man Dan at the Chart Guys. Appreciate everybody's messages from yesterday's video. I haven't read them all just yet, but most comments from humans in a long time, most likes in a long time, and of course the video is at like negative 40% of what it normally is for views. But I think YouTube had a glitch last night. I'm seeing other people saying the same thing, so hopefully it's not the algos getting revenge on me. Appreciate the support. So S&P 500, I was watching the futures time frame and we knew, okay, some red flags yesterday on the size of the pullback, and this morning was looking for a 12-hour higher low to form because we had the low of Friday, the high of yesterday, and a whole bunch of space for the 12-hour higher low. It was just going to be a question of how much do we retrace before that 12-hour higher low forms. There was some gap down opens on the morning. Powell started speaking at 9 a.m. That provided a little bit of bullish momentum into the open. And we ended up having a bull day. And I had a bit of a bull lean, and I will talk about my trade and why we'll go bull lean first. So what gave me a bull lean was the strong start to the morning was nice for the bulls. This is the 15-minute time frame. Let's go to the 5. So I was watching it mostly on the 5-minute. So this was pre-market, little higher low. The bell rings and we see continuation. We pull all the way back. And really it was QQQ that was giving me some confidence. QQQ held a double bottom at the low of the day, new high, and then we dumped. And so obviously on that dump, you say, oh no, here we go again. Because we were looking for hourly lower highs to be the most likely result of this morning bull move. We were looking for lower highs compared to the highs of yesterday on a lot of individual names. And so on this big drop, we ended up holding the low of pre-market. As soon as we break the low of the day, the low of pre-market is now then the most important level to me. After I see the size of this bounce, that's over a 50% retracement, the bears never confirmed a 5-minute downtrend on the morning. And that was notable to me. And you hear me say 100 times, bulls have to confirm the trend. They have to see the higher low and higher high, or they're going to give the move back. And that's been the market mindset for the weakness that we've been seeing for many months. And so this was reverse. And so the fact that the bulls were able to hit a new low of the day and see a 50% plus bounce retracement, to me, that showed resilience. That's a pretty strong response for the bulls. Because if the bears were going to take over on the day, we would have seen a less than 50% retracement and then a 5-minute downtrend confirmed into a bear break of the low of pre-market. So again, we didn't confirm a 5-minute downtrend on the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ at any point on the morning. And so I started to develop a bull lean midday. I wasn't confident enough to buy this waterfall drop looking for the bulls. But once I saw the bounce retracement, I said, all right, we're scouting a 15-minute equilibrium. And the bull lean came from, again, I was watching the NASDAQ, pretty much the same thing. The NASDAQ was leading SPY a little bit here. So we're on the 15-minute time frame. We're tightening up. And I was trading MARA again today. We're going to go into that a bit more in depth, just loving the volatility there. But at 11:58, which was right here, as we're tightening up, so I'm personally playing the 15-minute equilibrium on QQQ with a bull lean via MARA because I was staring at MARA all morning and I saw some signs of relative strength there, just in terms of, some bid support and some nice buying at the ask compared to what the broader market was doing. And if I'm wrong, I'll stop out and look to grab SPXS and it'll just be a less favorable entry. Fortunately, was right. I almost got faked out because some jerk from the Fed started talking right here, this 5-minute candle, and that actually led to I stopped out of MARA on that candle. And I'll go into MARA and how I traded it more in depth here in just a moment. But a nice win for the bulls. So now what? Well, we know CPI is Thursday. Today was a very low volume day. Look at the volume on SPY. On the daily time frame, very low, under the 28-day average, lowest volume day in over a week. So making note of that, but keeping an eye on the 4-hour time frame, because essentially we're either going to straight shot break the high of yesterday tomorrow, which would be a big, we can't do that without more volume than today. We would have to see more volume. Or we fail the high of yesterday and then tighten up on the 4-hour into the CPI reaction Thursday morning. So that's what we're keeping a close eye on tomorrow. Are we seeing a 4-hour lower high and tightening range, or can bulls follow through? And just seeing little signs of bull sentiment shifting. We saw it in crypto over the last week, where a lot of the weakest coins bounced 30-40% in a matter of 4 or 5 days. We saw it in the crypto related stocks, and seeing it a little bit today in some of the Reddit names as well. GME putting some pressure on bears, certainly not doing much on the daily time frame, but over the last couple of days, we're up 20%. And today it was just putting some pressure on bears into the end of the day. And shout out to Rich in the chat room. He posted about it after 3 p.m. And I was not watching GME at all today, but very low risk. A lot of traders or a lot of people look at this move and say, oh, like, how can I make an entry? It ran away without me. If you zoom in, you can give yourself low risk attempts. You look at this and say, well, where does my stop go? I was zoomed in on the 1 minute time frame. Let's see if I can find my orders real quick. So I'm zoomed in on the 1 minute time frame, and I'm watching this, and I'm saying, okay, if we're going to run into the end of the day, it's now 3:30. If we're going to run and close strong, we're going to hold 1 minute EMA 12. And so I see this little higher low of 1746, and we come back and hold it again. And so I just bottom fish. So I market buy right when we're right near there. I get filled 2 pennies above support. I put my stop 1 penny below support. I'm risking 3 cents. With slippage, we'll call it 4 cents. I'm risking 4 cents for the possibility that we run into the end of the day. We get the bull break. I sell half. I'm now risk free, and then scaled out another small amount above 18, another small amount in the 1780s after this big pullback. I was considering swinging overnight, but I don't feel like looking at my phone after I make this video, so not going to. But that's just an example of, again, utilizing a very short-term level to establish a very low risk. If I stop out for a 4 cent loss, it means nothing, but it put myself in the position to see a 40 cent gain. That's 10-to-1 risk reward, or reward to risk. So thanks, Rich, for that little heads up. So NASDAQ, same deal. Do we set a 4-hour lower high and tighten up, or can the bulls follow through, needing more volume to try and break the high of Friday? Nope, the high of yesterday. The dollar is still sideways here, just a little daily inside bar, pretty much no information whatsoever, and no real impact on the market whatsoever today. If this inside bar breaks bull, then I would anticipate a 4-hour tightening range on the futures charts. If this chart breaks bear, then there's the possibility that we get the bull break of the high of yesterday tomorrow. If I had to choose right here, right now, I'm watching for a lower high and a tightening range, just knowing that CPI is Thursday, unless there were, maybe a leak or something like that, and a lot of confident bulls with what CPI is going to do, but I would be looking for a tightening range. So Tesla was a lead bear this morning, and it came right after the double top. High of yesterday, we failed to break it by less than $1, and from that point forward, we had a ton of weakness on the morning. Just look at this waterfall drop. This is everybody saying, okay, we're not going to break the high of yesterday. And, on the initial rejection, that's one thing, but once you hit the new low of the day, that's when the bears convincingly reject. Because if you reject and set a higher low, you can still get that level. But as soon as you see that new low of the day, that's the win for the bears on the morning. And so from there, we headed towards the gap fill. The gap has not filled at 114.39. We came about 60 cents away. But what the bulls are hoping for now on Tesla is a daily inverse head and shoulders, which would mean holding the low and then breaking both of these resistances, 123.52, 124.48, which would definitely cause some bears from the last couple weeks to cover. And that would confirm a daily uptrend for the first time in a long time. So that's what the bulls have to pull off from here. They have a decent hourly bounce going, and we need to head back to that level ASAP for the bulls to try and follow through. If we see some weakness, then we'll look for that gap fill of 114.39. But keeping a close eye, because Tesla broke this weekly stair-step bullish. And again, we have some nice recent historical examples. How did BABA bottom and now go almost 100%, over 100%? Just about 100%. How did we bottom? Maximum absolute fear. Free fall, big gap down, volume climax. And we look at Netflix. How did we bottom? A bit different, but free fall, maximum fear, sideways for a while, and then a bull break. And Meta Netflix went 100%. Meta has now gone, I don't know, 65% or something. Big gap down, bleed a little bit. That's the bottom. So the question is, can the Tesla bulls just turn things around and see a big enough bounce here for us to say that's the bottom? It would take months for us to say that was the bottom. You know, what's the probability that Netflix is going to drop 50% from here to new fear lows? I think the cycle bottoms in for some of these names that have bounced 100%. Certainly not confident in that in Tesla, but weekly stair step drop. Let's see if we can follow through from here with a little daily trend change to get the weekly oversold bounce going. Semiconductors, strong day, held the low of yesterday, inside bar closing up near the high. So good job by the bulls. NVDA was a bit of a laggard. It was not participating with the bulls, and then in the afternoon, it played catch up. This whole time here, look what we did for a couple hours. QQQ, that same time, had a bull break. That bull break was at 12:30. NVDA, bull break wasn't until 2 o'clock, hour and a half later. So a laggard catch-up move, but same thing, daily inside bar, decent close. So essentially, yesterday, great start for the bulls, into the afternoon. And today, we're leaving that a bit. There's definitely a path forward where bulls can continue to march on for the 2-week inverse head and shoulders attempt. At this point, looks like the bears would need a bearish CPI reaction to try and stop this move dead in its tracks. Healthcare, this was the biggie. So healthcare's close for me to calling this a bear break with zero follow through. So we broke support yesterday and we broke that level by 7 pennies. But if you break a level by 1 candle and then start a bounce, I call it no follow through. So the bulls are on the verge of confirming an hourly uptrend. And if we confirm this hourly uptrend by breaking 134.73, then I will call this a bear break with zero follow through. And so that would obviously be a big sigh of relief for the bulls. UNH, the largest holding in XLV, is still notably weak. Daily bear flag confirmed. So the fact that the most important healthcare name is weaker and the healthcare sector is able to offset that, that's notable to me. Also have to keep in mind earnings. So we got earnings Friday for UNH, which is going to impact the healthcare sector. We've got the financial sector earnings starting on Friday. So we have to keep an eye on those reactions as well. That could be another thing that stops this bull momentum fairly quickly or magnifies it. But again, today was enough for me to say, okay, I'm still, looking bullish more than bearish. I did make a bearish attempt today for a little top fish, stopped out, break even. This was actually one where I recognized mid-trade. I don't normally change my trade game plan mid-trade, but I was looking at a rising wedge here on the 2-minute time frame for QQQ, looking for a lower high compared to the high of the day if we were going to see a tightening range all day. Trying to see exactly where this trade was. So I was looking for, it was right here. So I'm looking for this rising wedge to break bear. And I make a bearish entry on this 2-minute bounce. I put my stop a bit over 272 and I get my support break. And again, it's the support break that lasted 1 candle. So I call that a lack of follow through. Support breaks by 1 candle straight into green. So on this bear break, I exit 25% of my short just so I have some more wiggle room and I'm now very comfortable in control of the trade. And as soon as I see this bounce start, rather than leaving my stop over 272 and eating a small loss, I say that is not what I want to see. If that's going to be a rising wedge bear break, that follows through. So to go straight into a 1-minute bounce, I just bail break even. Because it was clear that that was the opposite of what I wanted to see. So that was one of my main bear attempts today, which I just exited on break even. I did flip MARA bearish a couple times in the morning, but where are we? Healthcare, so hourly trend change, trying to shape up for the bulls to try and make this a bear break with zero follow through. What's a bear break on the weekly with zero follow through? It's an attempt at a monthly bull flag. I'm not going to go as far as to say that at this point. Let's just take it on the hourly and the daily from here. Financial sector, keeping strong. Brief consolidation, not getting follow through. So bulls are all right in the financial sector. No red flags there. IWM, notable strength, bullish engulfing candle. So another little clue is we're starting to see our growth names get a little bit of confidence for the bulls. So ARKK, over the high, closed over the high of yesterday. So SPY QQQ didn't close over the high of yesterday. IWM did. ARKK did. PLTR, daily uptrend confirmed, closing at the highest level in a couple weeks. So growth names are starting to see a little bit of that bull confidence return. So again, it was the most beat up crypto names with a mini short squeeze. We've got the Reddit names getting a little bit of bull momentum into the end of the day with some short covering. And now it's the growth names trying to participate a bit. The biotech sector, this is a top watch. This is a top watch because bulls keep defending 81 right off that level this morning. Double bottom by a penny. Really nice play for the bulls there. And look at this close. That's a strong close. As we know, it's all about 84.18 with this wall at 84. But again, if the sentiment continues to start to build towards the bulls, I'm going to be looking for XBI to get over and close over 84 to potentially trigger a long swing. Because again, when you tighten this much, when the break takes place, you look for follow through. So I'm watching the biotech sector very close. What's going on after hours? Not much volume, but still creeping up. 84 is in play. In an ideal world, we fail 84 one more time for an hourly high or low entry to have better risk and reward. But again, I'm open to bulls breaking 84. And let's go to the 2-day time frame, which we were watching for a while. And that would be, it wouldn't be a 2-day uptrend. But again, a break of 84, and 84.18 to be exact, would give us the highest level that we've seen in over a month. And then it's just 2 resistance levels to try and get to the highest level that we've seen in 4 months. Yeah. Keep an eye on the biotech sector. It's due for volatility. I mean, when's the last time it was this tight? I don't know, but probably a very long time. MARA. So again, MARA, the setup for me was, okay, 5:30 resistance. Watch for a top fish first thing on the morning. And I wasn't trading while live streaming, so we got the bearish rejection at 5:19. We pulled back very notably. We then tried again, 5:24. Failed the high of yesterday, pulled back very notably. So I did a little bit of shorting on that pullback. And then at that point, I said, okay, I've got my bull lean on QQQ. I like MARA because, again, I was noticing some bull correlation, just little signs. But not only that, I was very impressed that bulls held the gains from yesterday. 20-25% short squeeze, and you're trading, you're consolidating sideways right under that resistance level, and now it's a double top. So my logic is, okay, we've got a tightening range on MARA as well, 15-minute tightening up. If QQQ breaks this 15-minute equilibrium bullish, then MARA is likely going to break 530. It's likely going to break its 15-minute equilibrium bullish, take out 524, and follow through over 530, and keep the short momentum on, the short squeeze momentum going. And so that ended up playing out just as I had hoped, except for the Fed speaker. Was it Bullard? I don't even know who it was. Whoever it was, they messed up my trade because I was I was playing the short-term uptrend here, and I had an entry I was playing off of 504. So I was saying, all right, that needs to hold as support, and we need to see a break of the high of the day. And so I made an entry, I forget where, maybe 508 or something. As soon as I was looking for a level where I could say that's either our high or low, or I'm wrong and want to stop out. So I was using 504 support. Bull move up, great, everything's going great. And we reject from the high of the day, no biggie, let's set a higher low, which we did. And then as soon as we reject from 521 again, fortunately I did exit half my position on that resistance break because now it's pretty much a triple top. And then I stopped out because the second half stop was under 504. And so I recognize that stop out and I say, okay, well, that's a bear candle to the reaction of what was just said, but it didn't change the setup for QQQ and S&P 500. They were still a 15-minute equilibrium, and so was MARA. So I did end up jumping back in. It ended up costing me a better position. You know, my average at that point was then up around 512 or 514 by the time I had a comfortable re-entry position. So it did cost me, but I'm proud of myself for jumping back in that trade and not giving up on it just because of that, you know, 1 2-minute candle that triggered a bunch of stops. So we then had really nice follow through from there and then scaled out and not swinging it. Again, just really liking the fresh, clean slate and day trading these volatile names. Bitcoin also was a factor. Bitcoin broke to the highest level that we've seen on this bounce by getting over the high of yesterday, a 4-hour higher high. So Bitcoin's in a slow grind up mode. And so that helped as well. And we'll be keeping an eye out for back burners. First 5-minute oversold conditions from here. We're going to be scouting an hourly high or low. Not forgetting that we're going to be scouting a weekly lower high. So I'm also going to keep an eye out for the potential of looking for a bearish entry on MARA for a swing position eventually, but not at the moment. Going to keep going bullish as long as the bulls have the volume and momentum. I think it was the #1 trending name on StockTwits today, which gets some retail attention. And a lot of people saying, you know, coin news was that it cut jobs and coin's up 9% because it cut jobs. No, it's not. It doesn't hurt. The news doesn't hurt. Coin is up because the crypto sector is seeing shorts cover. It's as simple as that. All you got to do is look at the sector. Would MARA be up 38% in 2 days because coin cut jobs today? Would Riot be up 28% in 2 days because coin cut jobs today? No, this is not related to coin cutting jobs at all. So that's just, you know, that's where I can have an edge as a trader because I'm paying more attention. Anybody that's paying attention superficially or just fundamentally thinks that that's the reason that this is going on. It's not. That's not why coin was up today, 8-9%. It's because the sector is seeing shorts cover. I mean, look at this chart. We're heading up towards a 100% move if this keeps going for the riot off of the low. So hourly consolidation will be inevitable on these names, and we'll be watching for hourly higher lows as the most likely scenario as the result of next consolidation. Gold still holding on real strong. Silver did give me that daily lower high, but I'm not confident in a bear break unless the dollar bounces. So I'll stop out of that. Silver short if we do see another higher high. Oil inside bar, not much going on. Still scouting a daily lower high, but not being set yet. And natural gas still very weak. Tried to get a little bit of a bounce going, but just an hourly lower high and lower low. And here we are testing the low of the entire drop at 356. So overall, definitely a sigh of relief kind of day for the bulls. Amazon is still doing exactly what the bulls want to see. Amazon relative strength, it's the strongest it's been comparative to the NASDAQ in 5 weeks. So Amazon is now captain lead bull of QQQ, and Apple is not joining. Apple divided by QQQ has to join with a failed bear flag and get over this daily EMA 12 for the first time in 6 weeks. So it's only one leader right now for the bulls. Well, I take that back. It's Amazon on this most recent move up. And we did see Meta, relative weakness for 2 days, gap down open for relative weakness, but it is still a daily uptrend. So that turned into relative strength very quickly. And Netflix, same thing. 2 days of relative weakness, gap down of relative weakness as we started the morning weaker into all buying and continuation of this uptrend. So very short-lived shift in correlation there, which is a good sign for the bulls because the bulls want as many lead bulls as possible. But it is still Apple that is holding, and Microsoft is holding things back a bit as well. Microsoft divided by QQQ, big red day, I assume. So yeah, Microsoft and Apple are the stick in the mud for the QQQ bulls. Amazon has put on its lead general pants, and we'll see how long it can lead the way. Definitely have to see Apple join though. If we're going to be talking 2-week inverse head and shoulders with follow through, which is still a ways away, it's gotta. We need more than just. We need Apple and Amazon. That's what it boils down to. All right, another doozy of a video. Thanks for sticking with me. Thanks for the likes and shares. Do good things. I'm going to Maine. So you'll see other people doing video tomorrow. and I'll see you soon. Do good things. Adventure Time, Chapter 11-7. We've got, where are we going? Curacanti National Recreation Area. And heading back, curling around from Telluride, through Red Rocks, back to Boulder, where I'm going to do the house sitting. So again, just more national public lands to check out. Hung out here all day and just swam and lounged around in the sun, and that was the day's task. As I hopped around, I got to the point where, I used to be able to drive from college to home. I would drive 14 hours, sometimes in a row, sometimes peeing while in cruise control. But I quickly burned myself out, and then I started to really only do 4 hours at a time. Anything more than 4 hours driving, and I get pretty miserable. And so I would just hop and find little spots along the way. I pick a spot on a map, I know where my destination is, and then I just zoom in and look for green areas on the map and national parks and national forests where I can stop in between, sometimes out of the way, but usually not too bad, and some nice hikes along the way. More Curacanti, again, just a big open giant lake where you can hang out, camp, do whatever, boat. It's ours, it's public. We pay for it. Take advantage of it. So string cheese at Red Rocks was a great time. First time at that venue, heading back there in 2 months to see my buddy playing Papadosio. That'll be fun. I'll take some more pictures and footage there. But just a really unique venue in terms of being surrounded by the rocks, and obviously pretty iconic. And those are the rocks that are red. Baby chipmunk. So now getting back, and my task was to house sit for a month in Boulder and walk. This is Nina, and she is an Australian Shepherd. And man, if you have never seen Australian Shepherds, I'm sure there's a lot of work dogs that are up there in regards to it, but their drive is insane. And it's clear that they have been bred for thousands of years to just work, and that's all they want to do. And I have no doubt that, you could probably run this dog to death if you just threw a ball for 20 hours in a row. All she wanted to do was chase the ball. That's it. And she would do it for hours and hours on end. So it was nice to have a home base and be able to trade a little bit. I did some trading, be able to make food on a stove. That was nice. And just take care of the garden. She had a big old wall of peas and a bunch of raised beds that had been pretty developed. There's the backyard, a nice rainbow, great views. Pretty awesome backyard. There he is. So harvesting some cucumbers and beans and potatoes that were all grown in these little raised beds. You can see my matching pants. It's a funny story about those pants. I think I've already told it, but I'll save that for another time. Yeah, matching outfit. I don't know if you can tell, but I've been wearing the same outfit for 3 days in a row now. Whoever invented that you need to change clothes every day is a fool. I don't buy it. Some cool, they had what are these? Hot air balloons. They had a hot air balloon festival, so that was cool in the distance. I guess that's, I don't know what that is. If that looks too big to be a dove, maybe not. Anyways, raised beds, nice and established. That's all you need. The amount of food that you can grow in this right here is pretty remarkable. And you can definitely feed a family on that. So get some raised beds and grow some food. So I didn't do a whole lot aside from, explore Boulder, do some hikes in the area, check out the restaurants, and trade and take care of the dog, and then moved onwards westwards to Utah, which had some great spots, and we'll head there next. See you then.